What's up, everybody? Jason here with the Portuguese Brothers, and today we're going to discuss a little bit of differences between doing barbell style rows for our back and the difference between isolation exercises working with single arm movements. So to really narrow it down, it really comes down to the usage of our shoulder blades. Our shoulder blades are the key to the health and function of our shoulders. And next in line, I'm going to demonstrate and help discuss the differences between the two and why we want to try to match these two and marry these two together in our training to make an overall healthy shoulder base. So let's talk about the barbell row first. The barbell row is a compound movement, correct, right? Where the biceps and the shoulder blades and all the muscles in between are really creating a big synergistic movement. But as we all know, one side of our body is always a little bit stronger than the other. So the compound movement itself is going to help create a better mass response for all those muscles working together as a team, gaining that synergistic biomechanics, okay? So if I got myself set up into my, let's say, for example, a very basic bent over row, I'm pulling through my shoulder blades, and I'm trying as best as I can to contract both my shoulder blades and my back evenly, but one is always going to work better than the other. I know for me, I know for a ton of my other clients out there and athletes. So we work that together to try to create as much synergy as we can, but there comes to a point where there will always be some sort of little imbalance. So this is where we want to try and work the isolation or the single arm movement. A little side note, one of the major reasons why people get shoulder pain, impingement, all these little aches and pains in one shoulder versus the other is due to the fact that one shoulder blade operates at a better rate than the other. So these isolation exercises will help gain function of that left and right side, whichever it may be, to really catch up so that shoulder can function properly, and in result your shoulders will be a lot happier. You'll stay away from more impingement because that shoulder now can function better as a whole and or independently. So now coming into our isolated and single arm movements, we can really single out the weaker side of our body and make sure that's creating very similar contractions to our stronger side. So as we'll probably notice when we're doing our big compound movements, yes, I get to drive heavier weight, create better synergy between my muscles, and get a greater overall stimulus, but there comes to a point where we got to keep these guys as close as we can, strength-wise, in order. So isolation, here we go. Let's say my right side is my weaker side. Now I can really make sure by itself, in comparison to my row, to make sure my shoulder blade can fully contract tight, and now I can zero in on that specific shoulder blade, and now I'll put all my nervous system energy into training that muscle to pull nice and tight. And the same thing when it goes to the other side, train it identical, okay? And that is what's going to allow you to flip-flop between work the mass movement, get as best synergy as you can, come back to the isolation or single arm exercise, train each one separately, and then the next session that you come back in to do the repeat, my barbell rows, anything coming from a double hand motion will feel more and more together, more whole, more complete as far as the left side, right side movement goes. So that is the basic benefit of working on your mass movements and creating these isolated movements as far as the shoulder blade health goes, to make sure that they both can get as strong equally, creating better and better synergistic movements, okay? So a little tip from the Portuguese Brothers. Until next time.